The other day, we got a plumbing repair estimate for $43,000. I almost had a heart attack. And then I made one phone call, and we ended up paying $1,700 instead. Let me tell you exactly what happened and what every landlord needs to know before they approve a single repair estimate. This was actually at one of our St. Louis properties. It's a single family, 2-bedroom, 1-bath. The tenant had put in a maintenance request because there was a clogged basement drain. So the property manager sent out the plumbing company to evaluate the situation, and he even had to get a hold of me and warn me before he sent the estimate over because he couldn't believe it either. But what they had proposed was that they needed to cut out about 60 feet of concrete, replace that much pipe, and then, of course, patch it back up when they were done. I didn't believe it. So I do have a lot of faith in this property manager, but I think we're going to have a conversation because this wasn't the first time this plumbing company gave us a really high bid that we ended up having the repair done for a lot less than they had estimated. So like I said, we've been in the St. Louis market for a little while now, and one of the things that we were fortunate enough to have happen in the very beginning was to get some referrals for contractors and handymen and things like that from the agent that we purchased the property with. And so I gave our plumber a call. He's done quite a few other projects for us over the past few years, and he went to check the property out. He got the drain cleared and then realized that the real problem was only about 8 feet down from where the drain started. And on the spot, he told me he could take care of the issue, make the repairs, and it was going to cost about $1,300. So, of course, I agreed right away because I do trust him. And they dug up the concrete and exposed the pipe. He sent me pictures right away of what the issue was, and I guess the seller that we purchased the property from had repaired that section of pipe, but they used flexible corrugated pipe. And that was one of the reasons that the plumbers couldn't get the snakes to go down very far down that pipe. So he sent me progress pictures. They removed that section of pipe, put in rigid PVC pipe. He sent me pictures once the repair was done, and then sent me a final picture when the concrete had been patched. They did all of that in one day. And so I was very grateful. I was a little concerned because we've spent quite a bit of money on this property already with other issues, and I didn't need a $43,000 bill. Some of the lessons that I hope to share with you, because we've had the experiences of going through these things, and it's something that I hope can save you time and money and help you manage your properties better. The first one is to try to get multiple estimates if you can. I know there's not always time. If it's, for example, an emergency plumbing repair, you don't always have time to get 2 or 3 people out there to look at it and give you an estimate. But when you can, I really would suggest that you do that. And try to build relationships with the good contractors that you find. One thing I always try to do is pay them as quick as I can, and they appreciate that. I'll usually add a tip because, as I've stated earlier, a lot of times they're saving us hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. So a nice tip included is still going to be way less than you would have paid that other person. And I would watch for patterns, even though you might have some people that you trust that you work with over the years. Just watch to make sure that their estimates stay within a normal range. Sometimes if they're super busy, they might try to charge more because they have to come off of another job to help you out, which is appreciated, but you still shouldn't pay more than the going rate. And I would always insist on pictures. These days, everybody has a phone. It doesn't take much for them to snap a couple of pictures while they're doing the work. I know I'm a contractor too, and sometimes when I get to a project, I get there and I just want to get it done. Sometimes I won't remember to take pictures, and so I think that comes into play as well. But most of the contractors that we work with have sent us pictures and don't mind doing it. I think the last thing that I wanted to mention was the fact that the reserves that we had really saved us. If we would have ended up having to pay $43,000, I'm not sure where that money would have come from. But since it was only $1,700 total, we were more than fine with the reserves that we had. So that one phone call saved us over $41,000. And that's not luck. That's the result of spending time to build relationships with trusted contractors. And if you're investing out of state, I think that should be your next priority, even before you buy your next property. And also, we're finally through the eviction process that we were going through on our property in Gary, Indiana. So I'll be covering that and giving you an update soon. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that.